Hello, Dreamwalkers. Welcome to the first bedtime story where we introduce you to the Dreamwalkers Library. This story is called The Lanterns of the Dreamwalkers Library. Let's begin. Tonight, you do not have to solve anything. You do not have to understand yourself. You do not have to become better, wiser, stronger, more productive, more healed, or more awake. Tonight, you only have to arrive. So close your eyes, if that feels comfortable. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Let the day loosen its little claws. And imagine that somewhere beyond the ordinary edges of your room, there is a path. It begins beneath your bed, or perhaps behind your curtains. Maybe it has always been there. A narrow trail of moss and moonlight, winding quietly away from the waking world. And you place one foot upon it, then another. The air is cool but kind. Above you, the moon hangs low and enormous, not as a distant stone in the sky, but as an ancient lantern. A grandmother moon, a witness moon, a moon who has watched women sleep, dream, bleed, heal, birth, grieve, laugh, leave, return, and begin again for thousands upon thousands of years. She does not ask you to hurry. She does not ask you to prove yourself. She simply lights the path. You follow. The trail winds through tall grasses, silvered with dew. Moonflowers open as you pass. Mugwort grows wild near your ankles. Tiny mushrooms glow under roots and stones, holding their secret knowledge close to the earth. Far ahead, between two enormous trees, you see a gate. Not an iron gate, not a gate meant to keep you out. This one is made of crooked branches, vines, feathers, shells, and little bells that ring whenever the night breeze moves through them. Above it, carved into a piece of old wood, are the words, "The Dreamwalker's Library," and underneath, in smaller letters, "All who dream may enter." There is no guard, no test, no question about whether you belong. You simply step through, and the world changes. The path becomes soft purple carpet. Trees become bookshelves. Branches curve into ladders. Stars hang from the ceiling on invisible strings. Books grow between leaves. Some are bound in velvet, some in leather, some in bark. Some have no covers at all. One appears to be sleeping. Another snores softly from a high shelf. Somewhere far away, a kettle whistles. You hear the flutter of paper, the creak of old wood, the quiet breathing of thousands of stories. And then a tiny sound, a shuffle, a snort, a yawn so dramatic it seems to take up the whole hallway. From beneath a pile of blankets emerges a round little creature, Bramble, the first librarian. Bramble blinks at you. His fur is rumpled, one ear is folded over. He looks as if he has been napping in that blanket pile since the invention of sleep. Beside him sits a teacup. There is a little paw print on it. Bramble stretches. First his front paws, then his back paws. Then somehow his whole body becomes twice as long. He looks at you, and without speaking, you understand exactly what he means. You have done enough. Bramble is keeper of the Nap Nebula, guardian of rest, protector of the sacred paws. He leads you through a doorway shaped like a crescent moon. Inside is a room filled with enormous cushions, velvet couches, hammocks suspended beneath glowing stars, thick blankets folded into mountains. Here, nothing is urgent. There are no clocks, no alarms, no deadlines. On the walls hang portraits of sleeping goddesses. Not defeated goddesses, not waiting goddesses, resting goddesses. One reclines beneath a pomegranate tree. Another sleeps beside a lion. Another floats on dark water beneath the moon. Their bodies are soft, heavy, unapologetically at ease. Bramble hops onto a cushion. He turns around 3 times, then 4, then, after serious consideration, once more. He curls into a ball. Above him, letters appear in the air. Rest is not a reward. They shimmer. Then another sentence appears. Rest is part of the rhythm. The room seems to breathe with you. In, out. In, out. You remember something very old, older than calendars, older than factories, older than the idea that a person's worth could be counted in hours worked or tasks completed. You remember tides, seasons, winter branches, dark moons, sleeping seeds. The earth herself rests. The goddess rests. So why should you be the one creature forbidden from doing so? Bramble opens one eye. Apparently, he agrees. He lifts his paw. A tiny pink cloud floats towards you. It smells faintly of lavender, rain, and something warm baking in another room. The cloud settles over your shoulders like a shawl. Anything you do not need tonight begins to fall away. The conversation you replayed, the thing you forgot, the thing you should have said, the thing you still need to do. One by one, they become small stones. You set them beside the door. They will still be there tomorrow if you need them. But tonight, you travel lighter. Bramble gives you one last sleepy blink. Then the hallway beyond the room begins to glow. Pink. Bright, curious pink. A small dragon head appears around the corner. 2 little horns, 2 shining eyes, then a nose. Then the rest of Suko tumbles into view. She is pink from nose to tail. Not a pale pink, not a bashful pink. She is unapologetically pink. Rose petal, dragon fruit, sunset cloud pink. Her scales catch the starlight. Tiny sparkles dance around her feet. Suko is the keeper of curiosity, the question opener, the door sniffer. She walks towards you with enormous interest, studying you as if you have just arrived from a fascinating new planet. Then she circles you once, twice. She peers behind you, apparently checking whether you brought any mysteries. Satisfied that you did, she trots down the corridor. You follow. Suko leads you into a gallery of doors, hundreds of them. Tall doors, tiny doors, doors carved from stone, doors made of glass, doors covered in flowers, doors painted with eyes. One door has a doorknob in the center. One is shaped like a seashell. Another seems to be made entirely of water. Suko sits before the first one. A sign appears above it. What if? She moves to the next. Why not? The next. Who told you that? Another. What do you already know? Another. What happens if you stop asking permission? Suko's tail thumps against the floor. She likes that one. You begin to understand. Curiosity here is not childish. It is not frivolous. It is sacred. For centuries, women were told that certain doors were not theirs to open. Certain books were not theirs to read. Certain questions were dangerous. Certain forms of knowledge belonged only to priests, fathers, husbands, scholars, kings. But curiosity survived in kitchens, in gardens, in whispered stories, in midwives' hands, in herbal remedies, in songs, in dreams. Women kept asking, kept noticing, kept knowing. Suko presses her nose against a small purple door. It swings open. Inside is a circular room filled with stars. At the center sits a bowl of dark water. You kneel beside it. Suko peers over the edge with you. The surface of the water shimmers. You expect to see your reflection. Instead, you see fragments, a staircase, a face, a forest, a room you once lived in, a road, a strange animal, a house you have never visited, a feeling without a name, dream images. The water changes again, and Suko looks at you, not asking, "What does this mean?" but something gentler, something wider. What does this make you wonder? You breathe. The question does not close the dream, it opens it. You do not have to pin every dream to a board. You do not have to dissect it. You do not have to force meaning from it. You can sit beside mystery. You can ask. You can play. You can return later. Suko taps the bowl with one claw. Ripples move across the surface. Your dreams scatter into the stars. She looks pleased. Then she spots something down the hallway and suddenly bolts away. You hear the tap, tap, tap of dragon feet. You follow. The library becomes stranger now. Bookshelves lean at odd angles. Plants grow from teapots. A suit of armor is wearing a flower crown. A portrait has turned itself upside down. Someone has replaced the library bell with a rubber chicken. And somewhere ahead, laughter. Deep, delighted laughter. You turn the corner. There sits Rikupraki, keeper of joyful rebellion. Rikupraki is lounging on top of a desk beneath a sign that clearly says, "Please do not sit on desk." She waves at you. Apparently, rules require inspection, not obedience. Around her are scattered objects that do not belong together. A crown made from weeds, a sword covered in flowers, a goblet filled with jelly beans, a book titled "Things Women Were Told Not to Do." It is enormous. Rikupraki opens it. Page 1. Take up space. She tears the page out. Page 2. Speak too loudly. Rip. Page 3. Want too much. Rip. Page 4. Live alone. Rip. Page 5. Grow old without apologizing. Rip. Page 6. Trust your own knowing. Rip. Soon the floor is covered in discarded pages. Rikupraki gathers them into a pile. Suko pairs beside her. Bramble has somehow arrived too, still wrapped up in his blanket. Together they toss the pages into a silver cauldron. Rikupraki lights a match. The pages burn, not violently, beautifully. Purple flame, green flame, pink flame. The smoke rises toward the ceiling. It becomes birds, then butterflies, then stars. You watch every old command dissolve. Be pleasant, be small, be quiet, be chosen, be useful, be beautiful, be agreeable, be selfless. Wait, endure, smile. The words burn, and beneath them something remains. Not emptiness, you. Rikupraki looks at you, then points toward the final room. You enter together. This room has no ceiling. Above you stretches the night sky. At the center grows an enormous tree. Its roots disappear beneath the library. Its branches disappear into the stars. Around its trunk are carved thousands of names, some known, some forgotten, some erased from history, some never written down at all. Mothers, daughters, healers, artists, dreamers, witches, scientists, poets, midwives, rebels, women who stayed, women who left, women who built homes, women who burned maps, women who never became mothers, women who mothered entire communities, women who worshipped goddesses, women who became their own. At the base of the tree is a small empty space, waiting. You place your hand there. The bark is warm. The moon shines through the branches, and you understand that the goddess is not somewhere above you demanding worship. She's not a king wearing a different costume. She is movement, cycles, body, earth, creation, destruction, hunger, pleasure, rest, rage, tenderness, beginning and ending. She is the force that grows forests from fallen trees. She is the dark soil where old selves decompose. She is the moon disappearing and returning. She is the voice that says, you are allowed to change. You are allowed to know. You are allowed to want. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to begin again. Bramble sits at your left. Suko curls around your right side. Rikupraki sits across from you beneath the tree. For a while, no one speaks. The library does not need silence filled. The moon moves slowly across the sky. You begin to feel sleepy, not tired in the weary way, sleepy in the ancient way. The tide is turning. The dark is calling you inward. Bramble yawns. Suko's eyes droop. Even Rikupraki has become quiet. The three librarians stand. It is time to take you home. You walk back through the library, past the cauldron, past the doors, past the sleeping goddesses, past the books whispering on their shelves. At the gate, the moon waits. You step through. The mossy trail appears beneath your feet. Each step brings you closer to your bed, closer to your body, closer to sleep. But something from the library travels with you. Bramble's permission to rest. Suko's permission to wonder. Rikupraki's permission to refuse whatever makes you smaller. Rest, wonder, rebellion. 3 lanterns, 3 companions, 3 ways home. The trail disappears behind you. Your room returns. Your pillow waits beneath your head. The blankets settle around you. Outside, the moon continues her slow walk across the sky. And somewhere, just beyond the ordinary edges of the world, the Dreamwalker's library remains open. Bramble has returned to his blanket pile. Suko is investigating a door she has definitely been told not to open. Rikupraki is moving the furniture for reasons known only to her. And on one quiet shelf, a book has appeared. Your book. Its pages are blank, waiting for whatever you dream tonight. No one will tell you what to write there. No one will tell you what your dreams must mean. The library trusts you with your own story. And for tonight, that is enough. Sleep deeply, Dreamwalker. The moon is keeping watch. The goddess is turning the wheel. The library is open, and you are already on your way. Good night. Thank you for tuning in tonight, Dreamwalkers. Until next time, you're never dreaming alone. We're all under the same stars. Good night.